in alto. No, lascia perdere quello lì che non c'entra niente. Non c'entra niente, tu dovresti vederti almeno nella camera con Sean.
Ho invitato Erika, ora invito anche John, va bene?
Ecco, adesso ci siamo, devo andare che sono live. Chiamala
Procedo con John? Invito anche John, Mattia? Mattia, invito anche John, ho invitato Erika.
Erika, yes.
E
Okay,
John?
Dopo.
Ok.
Okay, so I think we are live now. Just to have, hello Erika, just wait a moment. Just to have a feedback about our people who is following the table. Can you just make some reaction with questions to say yes, okay, you can hear us?
I can hear you very well.
Yeah, okay, yes, but
thank you.
We are on stage.
We are on stage.
Let's see if people can just give us a feedback, otherwise we can go on. Okay. Thank you, John. Also, you are on stage. Probably, let's see if somebody else is coming. So now we can have a little bit feedback about, I don't know, Paolo Cappuccio. Can you tell us if you can hear us? Okay, so but anyhow, I think we have plenty of time because we don't have so many speakers, and we have so we can wait for a moment. Other people making answers or whatever it is. Okay, so anyhow, I think that we are on stage, and we can start our table. So of course, first of all, I thank to all the people who are following us to be with us now. As I said before, this table F2 is dealing with action 6 of our action plan, design and implementation of training and certification courses on skills on sustainability, which should contribute to goal 8 of Agenda 2030, promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. So now I give the floor to Mrs. Erika Quendler. Just a brief introduction. She is a researcher at the Federal Institute of Agriculture, Economics, Rural and Monetary Research in Vienna. She holds the PhD in agricultural economics from University of Natural Resources and Life Science in Vienna. Her main research interests are sustainable development, quality life, resilience, digital transformation, young farmer and family farm issues, value chain, and economic accounts for agriculture. So, dear Erika, the floor is yours. You have between 15, 20 minutes, no problem about it. If you can share, of course, also screen if you want. Perfect.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, I can see, so go on. I'm okay. We are okay. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be virtually here. Thanks to modern technology, we are so near. In line with the motto, ladies first, my two colleagues, Matthew and Nureddin, offered me to present our work today here. We are looking at changes in the education system. Job profiles are changing and roles of humans are being redefined. The recent pandemic has, to different extents, given education system a preview into what might become the future. In Austria, at least, schools, university, and other institutions, as well as businesses, have been confronted with the problem of adapting their way of teaching. On a daily basis, ministries have had to come out with new guidelines at all levels. The question now, ladies and gentlemen, is how can we benefit from this? If at all, what are the ingredients going to be for a successful menu about a fair and inclusive future? The way we view education is challenged by the paradigm shift towards viewing the world less in terms of economic issues. For any change to be effected, the ground has to be fertile. A critical mass in the mindset for a fair, inclusive education of people has to be reached. So unavoidable, the human being is at the center of all. Therefore, we should look at the mindset required in terms of human needs, i.e. Maslow. If we superimpose the SDGs onto Maslow's hierarchy, we can gain a theoretical and multidimensional foundation for the implementation of a holistic approach which is sustainable, tenable, and healthy. This approach can be understood as a general framework for equitable, inclusive, and quality education at all stages, which fits the needs of both society and the environment. Several authors from different disciplines indicate that the current education system is not adapted to a human being's natural development. On the one hand, education has seen the rise in the current one-size-fits-all notion of curriculum and pedagogy that teaches to the best, driven by factors such as economic productivity, the push of measurable outcomes, and formal accountability. There are also others, such as serious environmental issues, social exclusion, capitalism, and economic exploitation impacting on local communities. On the other hand, there's a growing international recognition of education as a key enabler for sustainable development. One example, the International Commission of Education for the 21st Century has highlighted the importance of education in supporting human development. SDGs include education and responding to environmental, social needs and boundaries. Another example are initiatives such as Friday for Future. In any case, investigating in education can create a manifold dividend for SDGs and ensure job opportunities for the next generations. This investment in education and technology change is essential to support the vision for a fair and inclusive education. This notwithstanding, the next generations will have the same needs, regardless of the differences in beliefs, interests, and goals. Whether and how these needs are met for any learner affects the learner's motivation to learn and the educator's motivation to teach. In this respect, it goes without saying that Maslow's hierarchy can be used to enhance education through motivation. The higher up in the hierarchy a learner is, the better the motivation, and therefore the more the learner will experience learning fulfillment. If we look at the hierarchy, we can extrapolate a series of capability targets which can accompany a learner on a formative path in the digital world. These capability targets can be matched to an individual development as well as educational aspects of digital transformation. For example, at the Maslow's level of safety, which we have assigned to SDGs 16 and 70, as well as 4, the corresponding capability would imply that the learner be able to deal with cybersecurity, acting responsibly and with integrity in a digital context. When all levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are met, learners show their full ability and eagerness to learn and act in a sustainable way. It is clear that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is closely tied to human well-being and sustainability. It is responsible to assume that when learners reach the level of self-transcendence, they will be ready to be sustainable in all respects. People who adopt self-transcendence values more likely to engage in sustainable behavior, show higher concern about environmental risk like climate change, are more likely to perform specific actions such as recycling, and are more likely to support climate migration policies. To this aim, if a modern education system is to enable people to play a role in the coming area, it needs to foster a whole spectrum of capabilities. To get there, however, future generations need more than just a good mark. They need to live, learn, and adapt to the wants and odds that are taking over our lives. Advances in education paired with technology innovation allow educators to offer new approaches in teaching and learning, shifting the focus from institution to individuals and empowering them to develop their full potential of capabilities. These capabilities cover a number of different dimensions when enabling the fulfillment of individuals' needs. It is not just about being able to do something. Without the resources, infrastructure, and need, there is no writing, an email, or an e-conference. The integration of digital technology and media into learners' learning environment should serve to impart professional, general, holistic, and expansive competences, with a view of creating a digital generalist who sees the big picture but acts fairly, ethically, and sustainable within his or her field of expertise. It is about cultivating the full range of human capability, from the soft via the creative to the complex cognitive skills and knowledge that the sustainable employability of the next generations will need. This includes the SDGs, but also modern technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, advanced robotics. Coming a full circle, it is clear we are at the point where it is imperative that we facilitate education environments that are fluid, dynamic, and relevant. For far too long, education has been working with the presumption of ensuring a certain employability. Get a good job. Actually, we are preparing the next generations for jobs. Enabling employability, the next generation employment and job prospects is crucial in attending meaningful life of equal dignity within the current digital area and beyond. The next generation's life are not only about work. There's a wide range of roles as workers, citizens, community members, and lifelong learners. The focus on sustainable employability in education is about preparing the next generations to fit all of these roles and more. Employability provision needs to be multidimensional, experimental, and embedded as a pedagogical approach in the curriculum, and other institutional processes as outlined in this diagram. It has always the next generations and their employability as a central component, but also relies on 4 pillars. Look at the middle segments, 1 to 4, to provide the connective tissue to the different dimensions of education, as outlined in the outer cycle. It soon becomes clear that the process in order to become sustainable needs to be cyclic. It is only when the educational paradigm is built on the actual needs of the learners and trainers within contemporary societal developments and using the technology available to involve all stakeholders in an inclusive dialogue that future generations will be empowered sustainably. It may be that the experience gained during the period of enforced remote education will provide some valuable insights that will accelerate any process. But this, as it may, any change will need to be well grounded in transition research. Dialogue with all concerned will be essential, and roles will have to redefine themselves, slowly and potentially with a lot of uncertainty. Pilot projects already have and will continue to lead the way forward towards sensible modern paradigms. Initiatives such as this hopefully will serve to spread the flame. With this slide, we give reference to the chapter Impress upon this presentation builds on. Well, that's it from us. Thank you very much for your attention. We wish you all a fulfilling round table.
Thank you very much, Erika. You will have to disable your video, please, presentation. And I'm very glad to welcome also Mr. Driech Nureddin from KM Bari, which is co-author of the intervention of Erika, as well as with Matthew James Lamb. So please, I'm very glad that you are with us because you gave us a big effort for this table. And the floor is yours for a little welcome. Thank you, Nureddin.
To see you again. Meeting in the past, you are among my existing connection. And first of all, I would like to thank and acknowledge my colleague and friend Erika for the great presentation on behalf of the team. So, just a few words. CM Bari is an international organization based in Paris with 4 operations at Bari in Italy, and I'm glad with the plenary session where the representative on behalf of Adonolfi has mentioned one of the important multi-stakeholder we are working on it about agro-food system. So this is said. And just to add some few words about the co-authoring work, some take-home message to complete that employability is not about next generation being prepared for a job. Now we are challenging a grit to prepare people, and it was greatly mentioned and underlined by my colleague Erika. It's also another challenge to build resilient, adaptive, creative, knowledgeable, and inclusive next generation. We are challenging with many issues, and recently with the pandemic. So we need to prepare people who can now shift from physical to digital transformation. We need new expertise on people. They can manage platform for conference online. So we need some of this issue, and this can be also included in curricula of universities. So I don't think there are master about preparing people for those new jobs. Also, the challenge is to build resilient. It was mentioned, so we have to invest, and I think Erika also mentioned, we have to invest in education that can create manifold dividend for the SDG and ensure job opportunity for the next generation. So investment in education and in technological change is essential to support all the Agenda 23. So That's all from my side, and I would like to thank the organizer, and a special thank to my colleague and friend Andrea Sisti for the invitation, and for all his team for this interesting conference, the first one, with all problem and challenge at nowadays time. So we are here for any question myself and Erica about our presentation. So thank for the moderation and for all the team.
Mr. Driech, thank you very much. I know that Andrea was following us backstage, and he gives, of course, greetings to you too, and all for the effort you did for this table and whatever we'll do for sure in the next future. So thank you very much. Please, okay.
Because I forget to mention that I'm the coordinator of one of unique and exclusive CIHAM alumni network. So we call it the Network of Mediterranean Agronomists, and it gathered about. So who know our institution? We graduate since 1962. A lot of Mediterranean from 13 Mediterranean countries that they are located that have a lot of important tasks and decisions around the Mediterranean. So we are open for future collaboration with the worldwide agronomists and with the European one. This is an invitation from my side. And an opportunity in view of the West Africa workshop, and I would like to seize this platform to announce that we are launching for the brokerage that will be held between 28 and 90 of October through a EU project H 2020 called Leap for FNCA, a call for innovative ideas. So what the main objective of this call is to gather innovative solutions to mitigate the socio-economic and environmental impact of the pandemic. The three topics concern are innovation and digitalization in agriculture, short value and agroecological transition of food system. So people who are interested to have the possibility to apply, they can contact myself because or Andrea to get in connection with him. So we are open to for this opportunity for the participants of this international conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much again. It was very interesting to hear you, and of course it was also an honor to have you with us. We know that you are very, very busy, and so it is a great pleasure. You are right, actually, you spoke about the pandemic COVID-19, and actually you are right, because the pandemic has given a great boost to the globalization of the profession. Therefore, the agronomists and the association representing them should define as soon as possible a system of recognition of training and professional updating, which by promoting training activities can facilitate the mobility of professionals, provide univocal criteria of homogeneous skills to define a certification system common to professional skills, in particular in relation to skills for sustainable development, as you said before. So thank you very much. Now I'm going to introduce you the next speaker. Excuse me that I have to kick you off from stage. As well as Erica, and thank you very much, Erica, again for your kindness and for your speech. And now I give the floor to Job Wessling. Wait a moment, that also camera is coming on. Okay, Job, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, perfect. I just give you a little presentation of you. Job Wessling comes from Sweden. He's responsible for water and environmental issues at the Swedish Federation of Farmers. He works with several aspects related to sustainable food production and water management in agriculture. As a general specialist of the Swedish Federation of Farmers, he provides expertise on impacts of policy, legalization, incentives, and the changing environment upon farmers. So, dear Job, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. This was short notice, but I hope I will be able to make a good presentation anyway. And thank you, Erika, for an interesting talk on the big perspectives on human behavior and capabilities. Just a short presentation. I'm an agronomist, of course, and in soil science, and I work with the Federation of Swedish Farmers, as you already told. And I'm also in the board of the Association of Swedish Agronomists, and that is why I was invited also to this conference. Thank you very much. And I will try and share my screen now. Let me see. Like so. Okay. So this is my topic for the today. And my contribution, I think, will be a little bit on the more practical side, and I hope I can give some input to the discussion. I wanted to, yes, this is the agenda. I wanted to start talk about a bit about sustainability in Swedish agriculture, and also I want to mention a recent project that has been ongoing for some while, that is called Focus on Nutrients. That is a Swedish flagship initiative for sustainable food production. So this will be the agenda. So I want to talk a little bit about the history of sustainable farming in Sweden. And actually already in 1988, the Federation of Swedish Farmers decided on an environmental program, and it contained some different points. Some of them was to actually ban the use of preemptive antibiotics or growth hormones to livestock, and there were goals of reducing the negative impact in general on the environment, and also goals of lowering the risk from use of pesticides. And if we look today on where we have come, this is just one example. For quite some time, Sweden has been using the least amount of antibiotics per unit of body weight of animals of all EU countries. This is from a study from the EMA. It's from 2017. And we see an increasing interest in from other countries in how we manage to keep healthy animals and low use of antibiotics. And one question that arises is, of course, what are the economic impacts of this? Is it good, or has it been bad for the farmers? And I wanted to continue on that path and talk a bit about sustainability as we are working with it, because there has been a heavy focus on environmental sustainability in Sweden for a long time. And I think that our agriculture has experienced some economic difficulties, partly because of this pressure towards environmental measures of different kinds. And when you think of sustainability, that is usually described in 3 dimensions. You have the environmental dimension, of course, but also the economic and social dimension that are equally important. And to be truly sustainable, we really need to have all these parts work together. And in recent years, we have been trying to better include the economic and social aspects into sustainability when we communicate, and this is an ongoing work with the Federation of Swedish Farmers. So that was the first part I wanted to talk about. Now I would like to just mention a bit about our project that is called Focus on Nutrients, or Greppa näringen, as you see with the logotype. And this is a program that has been ongoing actually since 2001 in Sweden. And it started with a smaller number of counties that have intensive agriculture. And then since 2014, the whole of Sweden is part of this program. And the purpose of the program is to reach national goals of zero eutrophication, a non-toxic environment, reduced climate impact. And later, of course, we've gotten some EU directives like the Nitrates Directive and HELCOM, which is work to decrease eutrophication of the Baltic Sea, and also, of course, the Water Framework Directive. And some other purpose of this project has been to prevent new legislation that could obstruct the farmers, and trying to deal with these issues in a voluntary way. And other purposes was to increase the farm revenue by increasing the efficiency of farming, and also to maintain confidence from general public and consumers. So this has grown to become the flagship project of sustainable development in agriculture in Sweden. So what is this project about? It is a voluntary program with focus on win-win solutions. For instance, nutrient management efficiency, as I mentioned earlier. It is a joint collaboration between the Swedish Board of Agriculture and the Federation of Swedish Farmers, but also 21 county boards and over 60 advisory firms. And the funding is from the Swedish Rural Development Program. So I want to mention how this works as well, because I think that is one of the interesting aspects. The core of the program is repeated individual on-farm visits, where we have actually made more than 60,000 farm visits across 13,000 farms in Sweden. And the approach is a systematic approach with over 30 different modules to choose from. And I would say that the objective of all this is to increase the awareness and knowledge in order to change behavior from the farmers. And one very important part, of course, is the training of advisors and consultants. And this is similar to extension service also. And we can see that we've had more than 600 persons that have worked as advisors or consultants within these individual farm visits. And this project has actually become a key factor, or had a key role in training advisors in sustainability management in Sweden. So what are the results of this project? We can actually see significant improvements in the surpluses of nitrogen and phosphorus that could potentially pollute water and air. And we also see a better water quality in areas where there have been extensive use of this program. And we see in our surveys that 75% of the farmers experience they become more environmentally friendly within this program. We can also see that there has been restorations of wetlands that are very important for biodiversity, and we have actually restored over 3,000 wetlands in Sweden within this project. And we have also developed standardized tools for calculating farm gate nutrient balance and farm level climate impact for using it within this advisory service. But these tools have also been used by the dairy industry and different certification programs as well. So to conclude, what the key features or might be from this program that has made it very successful, I would say, and that has made it live for almost 20 years by now, and I think it will continue to live on within the next CAP or the next rural development program. I think main points are the repetition, where we have repeated visits. They are key to influence the change in behavior. Feasibility is very important, that the measures are farm specific and take into account farm economy. It's also inclusive because farmers and advisors are included in the decisions at all levels of this campaign. And we build proudness among farmers by informing them of their progress and other farmers' progress. And lastly, but I think most importantly, is that it's voluntarily. We try to inspire sustainable change among farmers. And I think that was all I had to contribute with, and thank you for the attention. And I will close down my presentation now.
Thank you, Job. It was very interesting. Thank you very much for the effort, of course, even if you had a short note about this kind of matter in the table. It was perfect, and it's always interesting to share experiences between different countries. This is the aim of this conference, and the aim about WAA is to make networking with different situation of agronomy, and how everybody is going to face agronomy in all these aspects, also about training, also about education, also about ethics. And it's very interesting how every country face these kind of matters differently, but always with the same background as we agronomists have, at least all together. So networking is let's say it's the key of the future for us. Of course, we don't have to invent anything new, but sharing, we can improve each other, and hopefully, of course, as we do for our ethic, to improve sustainable agriculture for all the other people who are providing food from us, environmental from us, and also from the work of the farmers, first of all, because we have to remember that the farmer is the first chain of whatever happens. So it's very important education also to the productive sector, not only to the professional sector, of course. So, Job, thank you very much. Just a note about the secretary. Can you please send us your presentation so that we put it on website for the next people who want to share it, as well as we will translate your intervention so everybody can look at it in the website in the next days. This was the last speaker of our table. Before closing, I would like to thank also somebody who was in backstage, but hardly working now and after, our colleagues, because all the volunteers from working with us are agronomists, which they want to share also this kind of experience, and we thank them very much. We had a beautiful experience in Expo and during our National Congress. All our colleagues, they want to share whatever we do, also working for our goals and skills. So thank you very much, Michele Desiati, which is reporting and gave us technical support, and also to Sean Campbell from Ireland, who will report about the speeches we had and will help us to make the final report that you will hear tonight after 9:30 p.m. Italy time, Central European Summer Time. So, Job, thank you very much. I have to kick you off, but it's not because I don't want to see you anymore. So session is closed now. If you want to follow the other session, maybe you can do it too. And of course, I give you the next appointment is for the closing session, which will be, excuse me, at 9:30 p.m. Italian time. Or if you already applied, you can follow the second special session at 7:14 p.m. Italian time on this platform. So thanks to all, and see you also in the next seminars and conference we will do. Thank you very much.